Hi, my name's Isaac, and this is a brand new 2024 Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid Premium Plus. And today, I'm gonna review it for you guys. Mazda has graciously lent me this CX-90 for the week, and I am super excited to get into all the features with you guys today. You know, when I first started out doing this car review thing, probably about 4 years ago, I never could have dreamed that someday the manufacturers would be sending me cars directly to review. It's unbelievable! And now that it's happening, I feel like the possibilities are endless. First a press car, then what? A chauffeur? Well, I guess if I had a chauffeur, that would make the driving segments of my videos kind of awkward.
So, how do you think it drives?
You know, for a really big car, it actually drives really well. I mean, it's got rear wheel steering. It also has a really potent engine that farts when you put your foot down. I like it.
I think you're better at this than me.
You know what? I'm gonna say executive decision. I don't think I need a chauffeur. I love when I have the opportunity to get a press car. Because I have more time with the vehicle, I can do more normal everyday things, like fill it with groceries, and then fill it with 6 people, see how it drives with 6 rowdy people in it. Frankly, it drives about the same, it's just a lot louder. But before I talk about the storage capacity or the driving dynamics of this CX-90, I want to start out up front, specifically with the headlights. You're going to have full LED headlights right here, low and high beams, and I've gotten the opportunity to drive this quite a bit at night, and I can attest they are very bright, very crisp headlights. And then you'll have this LED daytime running light that extends into the grille. I really like that design cue. I mean, honestly, overall, I really like the design of this CX-90 as a whole. I think it's a really sharp-looking SUV that maintains Mazda's corporate styling while also still standing out in a crowded 3-row SUV market. Moving into the grille here, you'll have parking sensors and then a camera for the 360-degree camera system. And then your Mazda logo also doubles as a sensor for Mazda's safety technology, which works in conjunction with a camera at the top of the windshield to provide things like radar-guided cruise control, lane keeping assist, and automatic emergency braking. This CX-90 is powered by a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder in combination with a 68-kilowatt electric battery, making 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, and that is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. The EPA estimates for this CX-90 are 24 city, 28 highway, with 25 combined. And in my testing this week, I averaged 25 on the dot. This plug-in hybrid model has 26 miles of electric range and a little over 400 miles of gas range. It includes a level 1 charger, which takes around 11 hours to fully charge from 0 to 100. You can also upgrade to a level 2 charger, whether at home or a car charging station, which cuts that time down to around 2 hours. It also does include regenerative braking. Moving to the profile of the CX-90, starting here with the wheels and tires, you're going to get 275 45R Falcon Zyx tires. Where do they come up with the names for these things? Well, probably the same place that I came up with the name Alpha Shark. Anyway, these tires are wrapped around 21-inch silver and black wheels. I really like this design. I think that adds to the premium look of this SUV. And then if we move up here, you'll have a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle badge. And then moving to the mirrors, they are body color with a turn signal indicator implemented in. And there is a camera for the 360-degree camera system, as well as power adjusting settings. They also power fold, and there is blind spot monitoring. And then moving to the door handle, this does have keyless entry. So if you have the key somewhere on your person, all you have to do is tap this button right here and it will lock the vehicle. And if you want to unlock it, you just put your hand back there. It will sense you have the key and unlock it. That is a great feature. Now the CX-90 also has this kind of black plastic body cladding that continues along the lower portion of the body. I think it looks really good and adds a little bit more rugged design to this thing. I also really like this chrome strip that has the Mazda badge in it, and I enjoy that it continues around the vehicle. It's little detail things like that that lend to this feeling more upscale. Now you'll have your gas cap right here, and I'm about to do something I never do on this channel. Go to the other side of the vehicle on the profile, because there's another cap back here. This is for your charging. It's funny, I was prepping this review and I'm like, oh, there's two caps. Yeah, one for the charging, one for the gas. That makes sense. And I was like, I gotta talk about both. And that's just not something that I normally do because I don't review a lot of plug-in hybrid vehicles, at least not yet. While we're here at the back, you'll have your CX-90 badge, all-wheel drive, parking sensors, SkyActiv plug-in hybrid electric vehicle badge. You'll have a backup camera, and then there is a button here to open up the rear liftgate. That's the normal way to do it, though there are a couple of other ways. For starters, you can swing your foot down here, and that will open up the liftgate. So if you have stuff in your hands and you can't get to something, that's a much safer way to open up the liftgate. You know what? I'm not going to take you through every single step. You know what a liftgate lowering and opening looks like. You also have the ability to do it from the key fob, and you can do it from inside. So there's a lot of different ways to open up this thing, which is very convenient. And you can lower it from this button, the key fob, in the interior as well. Moving fully into the rear here, there is a decent amount of storage. I could fit a fair bit of groceries back here, though it would be nice to see a little bit more. One thing I really love back here is you get not one, but two household power outlets back here. That is rare. You don't see that very often. You also get a 12-volt back here, which is nice to see too. With the option of the household power outlets, you could plug a laptop in and get some work done on a longer road trip if you're in the third row. Maybe you could tailgate with the CX-90. Really, the possibilities are endless. And if you want some more storage back here, it's super easy to get that. You can just fold the third row down by pulling the tab and pushing it forward. The second row seats also fold down as well to give you even more storage. Hey guys, just jumping in here real quick to let you know that I have merch. I have a variety of t-shirts on my website, beanies, and I've spent thousands of dollars on these 3 professional models to show you guys what my hoodies look like. Wow, look at how good they model. Anyway, if you guys are interested, you can follow the link in the description below. Moving to the interior of the CX-90, it feels incredibly well put together in here. The fit and finish is very nice, and it's just a very comfortable place to be overall. Let's start here on the door panel. This is a nice softer touch material up here. And while this isn't real wood, it still does look very premium. Then down here, you'll have your window controls, mirror controls, lock and unlock. Then you have some controls to turn off some of the safety systems if you want, the parking sensors, stuff like that. Traction control off is right here. And this button opens your fuel filler flap. I didn't know it was called that but apparently that's what it's called. I was filling this up with gas the other day and I learned that for the first time. I would just call it the gas door. Then down here, you will have a button to open up that rear liftgate, and then these are the power seat memory settings. There is a lot to love in here. One thing I don't is the power seat adjustment button down here is very squeaky. And this only has a little over 3,000 miles on it. So overall, the fit and finish is very nice in here, but that particular detail I noticed, like, wow, that's a little chintzy. That's really the chintziest button I could find in here, but I did want to note it that, you know, that was starting to squeak already, and I don't know, that could be this particular car, but I thought it was worth noting. Moving to the steering wheel, you will have paddle shifters right here. It is very comfortably leather wrapped, and you have a host of buttons to control some of the settings in your screen here and your screen right here. So you'll have your traditional Bluetooth, volume, channel changing, but you'll also have radar guided cruise control right here, which completely changes the look of the digital gauge cluster, and I think that's a neat design. You also have different drive modes which are accessible from down here. You can mess with those, so throwing it into sport also changes the way that the gauges look, gives you a completely different heads up. There's EV mode and off-road mode. Now, I don't really know if anybody's going to be taking this off-road, but it does give you a few things like hill descent control and a front camera that could aid in off-roading if you chose to do that. Now, in addition to the drive mode selector changing the screen, there's a few things you can mess with. If we hit info right down here on the steering wheel, you can look at a couple of different settings and move between those. So, you know, overall, it's a nice design, and I think the screen is very cool. You also get a heads-up display. You might just barely be able to see it right there. It says 0 miles per hour. It displays far more than just your speedometer, though. It also displays the speed limit. It will give you lines for the lane keep assist, and it will bring up other little notifications for blind spot and stop signs. I just think it is so cool that they've included that, and they really went above and beyond to make that more than just a simple heads-up display. Moving over here, you'll have push-button start and a massive infotainment screen right here. Now, Mazda likes to have their drivers keep their eyes on the road, and so the main part of the infotainment system is actually controlled right here. So you would spin this dial and that will switch between different things, and then you can click into different menus. Now, while the car is in park, this does actually function as a touchscreen. It does work on the Apple CarPlay, but if we go home to the regular Mazda screen, it does not. You need to use this dial. And I have talked in my other Mazda videos, in some Lexus videos, how I don't really like that system, but I'd only been able to mess with it for a few hours, even if that, whenever I would review those cars. But now that I've had this for a week and I've driven it pretty extensively, I actually really like the dial system. It truly does help me to keep my eyes on the road, and out of my peripheral vision, I can see what I want to go into, and I very quickly know what app is where and how many spins I need to give it, because it does give a little click. And I think it's super useful. And also, this is a bit of a reach to get to that screen. So I honestly don't hate this system. I think it's really good. And for example, if I want to turn up the volume, I can do that here. And I can also, let's go into music real quick. I can also bump to the next song just from this little guy right here. I can bump over and I can go to the next song. Oh, well, now it's not doing it, of course, because there you go. You can bump to the next song there. So it's very useful, and I really like that system. I think overall, it's a really nice infotainment system. Throwing it into reverse, there is a 360-degree camera right here, and you have a very nice backup camera with guiding lines as you spin the wheel. So that is useful. And then down here, you'll have your climate controls. That all comes up on this digital screen. It is dual zone. Let me turn it down. It is dual zone. And then you also have heated steering wheel, heated seats, ventilated seats, and a host of other bells and whistles that you get right here. I really like the setup, and these buttons feel very premium, pretty much the opposite of that seat control button right there. And then down here you'll have that drive mode selector, wireless charger, a 12 volt. You can pop this open for cup holders. And then this is the charge target, so you can set what percentage of the battery you want it to charge up to for the electric. And then hill descent control, as I mentioned down here. And then also this is a button that you can access your front camera with. Now, many people might say, Isaac, if I'm not going off-roading, why would I need a front camera? That's silly. Well, if we look, for example, we can look over here, nothing in front of us, right? Like, we're totally fine. We could just roll right into the grass. Well, let's hit that button. Oh no, there's a small red monkey in front of us. But we couldn't see that because he was so tiny. And he's just sitting there, just hanging out. That is one of the helpful uses of a front camera. Obviously, I doubt many tiny red monkeys will be running in front of people's vehicles, but small children, small animals might be running in front of the vehicle, and we might not be able to see over the hood line, and so the front camera is super helpful. And it's very helpful for pulling into a parking spot and seeing how close you are to the curb. I've noticed that is a great use for it, and you can just turn that off right there. Moving down here, I love this center armrest because it actually splits open. So I can keep my arm here and the passenger can access the storage compartment. Unfortunately, not a ton of storage right here. You'd wish that it would be a little bit deeper, but I am thankful for what you get. I just wish there was a little bit more. 2 USB-Cs right here and a slot for the SD card, because there is built-in navigation with this CX-90, though I think most people are probably going to end up using the Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto. And then up here, you'll have sunglasses holder and really nice, soft turning on LED dome lights. Look at how nice that it just, well, that came on fast, but you know, soft on and off. And then you will get a panoramic moonroof here, which is fantastic, though probably my second and last complaint with this interior is I went to open it and this is as far as it opens. You know, it's not very wide, maybe 6 inches or so, but you'd hope with such a large glass plate that it would open a little bit longer, but I suppose not with the way that it's designed. It looks like it just doesn't have the ability to do that. And, you know, it's still nice to have the light come in, but I'm a guy that likes to open the sunroof, and so that was a little bit disappointing to me. Definitely something to note if that is a big selling feature for you, the sunroof, that it doesn't really open very far. But overall, this front area is super nice. I think Mazda really has stepped up quite a bit in their quality overall and with the features and material. Moving to the rear seats, I just have to talk about how large this rear door is real quick. I mean, it is very big, but that allows for easier access to this second row, and it opens to 90 degrees. So for example, if you have a child in a car seat, there is much more room here to get in and adjust what you need to, and it just makes getting in as a whole easier. Talking about the door panel real quick, it is just as finely finished as the one up front. Very, very premium feeling. And you get this nice little sunshade. That is on both sides, of course. It'd be weird if it was only on one side, you know, then you had to fight for which side you wanted to be on to get that sunshade. But moving to the interior, I have a good deal of legroom, maybe 2 or 3 inches, and just about 2 inches of headroom at 5'9". Now, I can adjust this seat and slide it up and down if I wanted to give myself a little bit more legroom, or to give the third row passengers a little bit more legroom. I could do that. Amenities include heated rear seats, USB-Cs, and my own climate controls that I can discuss with the other person about. It is not dual zone back here, unfortunately, though it's nice to still be able to control it. And there's also fold up cup holders, which is cool to see. The second row probably has the best view out the panoramic moonroof as well. Let's take a look at the third row seats really quick. So stepping out, there is a very easy way to get to them. We can just pull this tab that will push the second row seat forward, and then I can climb back in here. Decent legroom. I have, again, maybe 2 or 3 inches with where I had it set, and just maybe about an inch of headroom. Of course, it's a third row in an SUV. It's not exactly the most spacious place, but it's not terrible. I think if I was back here with one other person, I wouldn't feel super cramped, but there is another seat here, so you technically can squeeze 3 adults in. For 3 children, this actually might be fairly roomy back here. And there are still some neat features like air vents, tie downs. These are really for if you fold these third row seats down, but you do get USB-C back here for charging and cup holders. So it's not completely stripped and barren back here. You also have a little nice LED light. Overall, not a bad third row. It's fairly spacious, and if you're trying to fit a whole family in here, you could do it pretty well. Driving the CX-90 Premium Plus, I will admit, I was kind of apprehensive at first when I was doing research in the lead up to this review, because I found out it had a 4-cylinder, and I was like, surely when I lay on the gas, it's gonna lag. Like, it's not gonna be able to pick up. It's a huge 3-row SUV with a 4-cylinder, but I was shocked to find out that even in normal mode, this thing gets up and goes really quick. Watch this. So I'm pedal to the floor. Listen to that, right away it picks up, no lag, and I'm in normal. Sport mode is also incredibly comfortable. I would argue it's even smoother than normal, and of course the throttle response is a lot peppier. EV mode is nice, though there's not a ton to write home about regarding it, though I can see it being a very viable option for people who have short commutes. Maybe you're dropping your kids off at school and run into your job or the grocery store really quick. 26 miles does go fast, but if you live in a city, for example, it is a really nice way to not have to use gasoline. And I personally love plug-in hybrids because it gives you the best of both worlds. You get the gas and the electric. I think it would be really cool if we could get cars up to 100 miles electric and 300 miles gas, something like that. And I'm sure someday we might be able to achieve that. But I think it's cool because if you run out of electric, you don't have to worry about finding a charging station. You can just go right to a gas station. Or if you have fuel in the tank, it kicks right in. But I really like that it gives you the option here to have that electric mode. And if you come back home at night to plug it in, theoretically, you could just keep running this on electric for quite a while if you don't have to go super far. And the off-road mode is not something I really tested on this. Even if I would have asked Mazda if I could have taken this off-road, I don't think I really would have wanted to. This is such a nice luxury SUV. I like that they've included the option to do so, but I don't really see a scenario, unless I was in some sort of action movie, that I would need to take this off-road to the extent of its capability, the features that they offer there. But overall, yeah, really smooth ride, very comfortable, definitely an SUV that I would recommend you look at because it is much more affordable than the other three-row luxury SUVs that it's competing against. And I would argue it's just as well equipped and just as stylish as some of those guys. Well, that is just about going to wrap up my review of the CX-90. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Before I go, though, I'd like to mention that I am a Christian. And if you have any prayer requests, I would love to be able to pray for you guys. You can leave those in the comment section below. And lastly, I like to close out with a weekly scriptural reading. This week, I'm in the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verses 8 and 9. By grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is a gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. What Paul, the author of Ephesians, is saying here is that our good works do not grant us a relationship with Jesus or access to heaven. He's not looking for good works. No, it's only by God's grace through our faith in Jesus Christ that saves us. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Take care.